We're on there? Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Members of my fellow councillors, the Deputy Mayor McColeman, and we have my councillors, but we have 3 unable to be with us, but 2 will be connected with us on Zoom. Councillor Ramsey is connected. You're with us, Councillor Ramsey? Hello?
Yes, I am, Your Worship. I'm here. I was just on mute.
Okay, and Councillor McFeely, you're with us?
I am present, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Snow is unable to be with us tonight. So welcome to Colin McLean from the Journal Pioneer. You're always here, and we appreciate you being here. Welcome to all our viewers on YouTube and all of the members of the media following us on YouTube. We have our CAO, Rob Philpott, with us. We have our Director of Finance, Kristen Dunsford, is with us. And we have our Deputy Chief, Sinclair Walker. And welcome again to all on watching on YouTube. And as mentioned earlier, Brian Harlick is on the controls here from Human Resources. And right off of the bat, the first item on the agenda is going to be a special welcome to our police chief, Dave Poirier. He was been off for the last number of months, but he's bouncing back, and welcome, Chief, back to your job. I know you had a difficult 8 months or 8 or 9 months, but knowing you, how strong you are, I knew you would bounce back quickly, and it's great to see you in such good shape, and welcome back. And maybe members of council want to comment before we move on to the next item. Deputy Mayor?
Well, just very much a welcome back. We've missed you, and a big thank you to Acting Deputy Sinclair Walker and Deputy Chief Blackhair. Thank you for your service. I'm getting old and I just kind of forgot their names, but thank you so much, and it's really great to see you, Chief Dave.
Thank you. Councillor McFeely, you're on the screen here. You'd like to say hello to our police chief? Hi there.
Yep, there, I'm off mute now. Certainly, Chief, welcome back. Seen you a few times while you were convalescing, and was always so impressed with your spirit throughout your whole ordeal. So welcome back, and as the Deputy Mayor said, certainly congrats to those that were backfilling in your place, and very much appreciated that service. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely. Councillor Adams.
Thank you, Your Worship, and welcome back. It's nothing like first day back and a late night meeting, but you're right to it. And you were missed, and I know Sinclair and Jason did a stand-up job while you were gone, but it's also because of your leadership that they can do that, so welcome back.
Councillor Duran.
Thank you, Your Worship, and welcome back, Chief Dave. I knew right from day one that you would be back. I know you wouldn't have it any other way. You love what you do, and it's clear that you do, and it's love having you around here when we come into a meeting, and I don't know what else to say other than I knew you'd be here, and glad you are, and welcome back. And of course, thank you to Deputy Chief and Sergeant Black here as well for kicking it up a notch there for a little while, and yeah, great to have you back.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. Councillor Campbell. He's the co-chair of your committee.
I'm the co-chair, and I'll have you whipped up in shape pretty soon.
And Councillor Ramsey, you're next.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. As chair of Police Services, I sure missed you, Dave. Your strength and endurance for everything that you've been through is a testament to the person that you are, and welcome back, sir. And thank you to Sinclair Walker and Jason Blackhair. They did an excellent job when you were away, and you left the place in great hands. And I'm sorry I didn't make your tea this morning, but I'll be there on Friday to have a tea with you.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey. Councillor McDougall.
Thank you, Your Worship, and welcome back, Dave. You surely were missed, but our Deputy Chief St. Clair and Jason did a great job, as well as all the staff. And but it's great to see you back in the chambers here and on the job, and you're looking great.
Thank you, Councillor McDougall. And as mentioned earlier, Councillor Snow is unable to connect with us tonight, but I'm sure he'd be saying the same as others. Welcome you back, and I personally will do that. Welcome back, Chief. It's great to have you back, and great to see you in such great shape now. And he's one of the few, well, Walker was there, that I used to work with, so I guess we're giving away our age maybe, but it's great to have both of you here tonight. And again, thank you, Walker, or Sinclair, our Deputy Chief, and Sergeant Black here for filling in for the Chief, and you're there to assist, and obviously did a great job. So we'll continue on. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Deputy Mayor McColeman, seconded by Councillor Adams. Any questions? All in favour say aye. Contrary nay. Carried. Any conflict of interest to mention? I do not see any lights on. Sorry, maybe I jumped ahead. Maybe our CAO might have wanted to say a couple of words to welcome the Chief back. Sorry.
That's okay.
Rob.
Thank you, Your Worship. Chief Dave, really wanted to welcome you back. I know it's been a long, trying time for you, but I've always been very impressed with your spirit and your approach throughout all of this, and your positivity, unrelenting positivity. I've always relied on you for sage wisdom and advice and counsel, sometimes when I probably didn't want to hear it, but I really appreciate that. And it's a real pleasure to have you back on the force, as it were, back with our team. And I also want to extend a special appreciation to Deputy Chief Walker as well for his efforts over the last few months in making sure that things ran as best as they could. So thank you both.
Thank you, Mr. CAO. Okay, we'll continue on here. Is there a motion to approve the monthly council meeting minutes of February 22 in 2022, approval of the special council meetings on February 16, 2022, February the 23rd, 2022, and March 1st, 2022, and March the 9th, 2022. Moved by Councillor Duran and seconded by Councillor McDougall. Any questions? And as you can see by that, it's a busy place around there. Meetings all of the time, but it's great to have it so busy. All in favour say aye. Contrary nay. Carried. Correspondence, I got a few things I'm going to mention here, I think. Pretty important. I know I get messages and phone calls and emails that long every day. I turn on the computer, which is great to be hearing from people. But I believe Deputy Mayor attended this one for us on February the 27th for the museum. You may comment on that a little later. And an invitation to the Prince County Horseman Club annual meeting will be coming up on April the 9th. So I gave a commitment that I would be there for that. The Knights of Columbus are having their state convention in Summerside on April the 23rd. And they asked me to bring greetings. And we attended the graduation of East Prince Youth Development last week. And it was great to see those 8 students move on. And Canada Games sponsorship will be in Charlottetown on March the 24th. So I'll have to go down to that and representing the city at the Canada Games. And last Thursday, the PEI Municipalities meeting was in Charlottetown, or West Royalty Centre, and we attended that. And the PEI Municipalities Finance Committee meeting was held in Summerside, so it was great to have the meeting in Summerside. We attended. And I'll mention the opening of the Dome. That was a great evening, and a lot of people attended. That was on the 24th. And there was another meeting at the Canada Games in Summerside. The board meeting was held on February the 24th at noon. And also the City Long Service Awards were held here on February the 17th. And we congratulated all of the people with many years of service. And then on that same date, we had to do a video shoot for the Canada Games, which took a little time to get ready for. And this Friday coming, we have the Mayor's Heritage Tea. We'll be in City Hall here at 2 o'clock. And that's usually a full house, and and there'll be awards presented. And it certainly has been a very busy month with so many council meetings. I'd mentioned half a dozen or so of the meetings, but at the other meetings, committee meetings, and it's been really busy. It starts that way here all the time. The PI Association, Newcomers Association, IRSA, that's Immigrant Refugee Service Association in Charlottetown. I was talking with them today, and they're looking for people to sign up to help in any way the people from Ukraine. Some people are calling in and say they'll provide housing for them, a room to rent or to let them stay for whatever reason or whatever, because it appears there will be quite a few of the people coming to Canada, and we welcome them. And so I was talking with them today, and they're going to be getting back on ways that people, there's a number here to call, 902-628-6009. That's the office for the IRSA, Immigrant Refugee Service Association. If you want to sign up in any way, shape, or form to help the people and to provide housing for them or whatever. So anyway, it's been a really busy time here, and which, like I said, it's that way most of the time anyway. And so I'll continue on. We have a lot of other invitations and things that I don't want to take too much more time into the meeting because there's a lot of important things to go over. Deputy
Your
Mayor
Worship, can I just ask you to repeat that phone number for the immigration for folks to reach out? Did you have that right in front of you?
Yes, 628-6009. That's area code 902.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. And let's see. Okay, you have financial services report from the chair, Deputy Mayor McColeman.
Thank you, Your Worship. I guess I should say that again. Thank you, Your Worship. It wasn't on. I'm very pleased to bring the monthly report this evening on finance. It was prepared by Director Kristen Dunsford. And I would like to just say good evening to members in the gallery, as well as our local residents and businesses, and those that are watching online. My report tonight consists of a recap of the 2022-23 budget and update on our preliminary financial results as we close on the end of 2021 and 22 fiscal year. We are still projecting a small surplus for 2021-22. The city delivered its 22-23 budget speech to the public on March the 9th, and council will be voting on it Thursday, March 31st at 12 noon. We want to meet the needs of the municipality without reducing any programs and/or services while continuing to make strategic investments. We must also be forward-thinking in our budget planning while also being fiscally responsible. The highlights from this budget are $60.1 million budget made up of $28.5 million for the general fund and $31.6 million for our utilities operation. A capital budget totaling $44.6 million, with $21.6 million being the city's share. Some of the larger capital projects that we'll be entering into this year will be the completion of the solar project. $1 million has been set aside for our new fire hall. Completion of asbestos removal and demolition of the old Holland College property on Granville Street, as well as replacement of the centrifuge at our wastewater treatment plant. The budget is balanced with a small surplus of $6,746, and that breakdown is that there's $4,650 in the general fund as surplus and $2,096 as surplus in the utilities. And there's definitely no change in property tax rates for our residents. Now for an update on the status of our utility accounts receivable. As of March 17th, 2022, the following is being reported. Total overdue balance is $272,400 compared to $208,100 as of February 14th, 2022. Approximately 6% or $16,400 of the overdue balances is greater than 60 days old. This compares to 7.5% or $15,500 as of February 14th, 2022. A few reminders to our utility customers. Until March 31st, 2022, we will continue to accept applications from Maritime Electric customers, both residential and businesses, who are within
The lights, somebody's light, there it's on now.
Okay. Who are within our municipal boundary to rebate for the additional cost of your January, February, and March 2021 utility bills. The rebate application form is available on our website, and the link can be found in the upper right-hand corner of the city's website page, and a copy of your utility bills must be submitted for that rebate. We are also encouraging customers who have outstanding utility balances and have not requested a payment arrangement to contact Financial Services at 902-432-1230. Collections notices are being mailed out, and customers are being reminded to address these notices as they are received to avoid any disruption to their utilities. As well, I just want to mention during the budget speech, I want to thank Colin McLean from the Journal Pioneer, CBC, as well as Spud FM for their coverage of the budget speech and interviews. As well, it was just mentioned earlier that we want to welcome back our Chief, Dave Poirier, and thank the members who covered on your behalf while you were out. And also, I want to extend condolences to Paul H. Skierman and his family in the loss, the recent passing of his wife and their mother, Barb Skierman. So I think that is something that's very, very important. And in closing, I just wanted to let members of council know that in your package, you do have a fairly thorough breakdown of your revenue and expenses for all city departments up to February 28th. The revenue and utility funds are detailed, and they're listed in categories such as rates for electric, water, sewer, heat for less programs, and those are all of the areas that generate the revenue in the department, the utilities. As well, you have received a list of capital projections up to February 28th, and it just shows the appropriate costing allocations for all city departments and utility funds, as well as any debt servicing, other government funding levels, and it just basically gives us a good snapshot of the annual process that we're going through to follow this year's budget. And in closing, I believe that's it for the utility report, with one exception, Your Worship. We received a thank you from Christmas Daddies, and every year the city does support, along with other different groups and individuals. And again, with COVID, it was a virtual pandemic telethon. But the good news is that there was $784,000 raised, and the general manager at CTV, Trent McGrath, has indicated not only does the annual telethon lift spirits, it also shines a spotlight on the generous nature of people who care in the regions. And the good news about all of that, the money that came from Prince Edward Island, it will stay in Prince Edward Island to help families. And many volunteers and the Salvation Army are wonderful partners, and they just wanted to thank the city for that donation. Okay,
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for your financial report. And you're right, the budget was a lot of work and many discussions, and for the information of the public, I don't know if it was mentioned, but our city of Summerside has a budget of $60 million a year, so you can imagine how many meetings council go through to get that sorted out. So we're a pretty fortunate little city here, and we thank the other two wards of government too for assisting us along the way. Okay, we'll move on to Planning Board. Now, Councillor McFeely, you're on Zoom, but I think Councillor Adams is going to make it a little easier, do the reading of the resolution, and you can comment, Councillor McFeely, and Councillor Ramsey as well. She's on the Planning Board too. The floor is yours, Councillor Adams.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. My Planning Board co-workers abandoned me, so I'm all going to try this. So I'll try and be Brian for tonight and do all this lengthy reading. I don't think there was anything that needed to be said beforehand, so we'll just jump in with the first resolution. Resolution COS 22-019. Moved by myself and seconded by, I'll ask for a,
Yes, sorry, second.
okay.
Or let's, okay, yeah. We're not jumping
Okay.
ahead of the others. I didn't
No.
see any hands up. Go ahead.
No. We just have so many, we were just going to sort of go.
To get them on the floor,
Yeah.
right.
Whereas, so moved by myself, seconded by Your Worship. Whereas an application was initiated by the City of Summerside to amend the future land use plan for a portion of PID number 322339 from parkland use to residential land use under the City of Summerside official plan. And whereas in accordance with section 5.7 of the zoning bylaw, council shall consider the following general criteria as applicable: conformity with all requirements of this bylaw, conformity with the official plan, suitability of the site for the proposed development, compatibility of the proposed development with surrounding land uses, including both existing and projected uses, any comments from residents or other interested persons, adequacy of existing water, sewer, road, stormwater, and electrical services, city parking, and parklands for accommodating the development, and any projected infrastructure requirements, impacts from the development on pedestrian, vehicular access and safety, and on public safety generally, compatibility of the development with environmental, scenic, and heritage resources, impacts on city finances and budgets, other matters as specified in this bylaw, other matters as considered relevant. Be it resolved that official plan amendment 013 to amend the City of Summerside official plan be hereby formally adopted. And that was moved by myself and seconded by Your Worship.
You have to
Mayor
read
Stewart.
the next page in the record.
Do you want
Official
me to
plan
read it?
amendment.
Okay, the official plan amendment 013 to amend the City of Summerside official plan. The Council of the City of Summerside, under authority vested in it by Section 18 of the Planning Act, RSPEI 1988, Cap P-8, hereby enacts as follows. 1. The land use for a portion of PID number 322339 as shown on Schedule B of the future land use plan is designated as residential land use, hereby excluding it from its former designation of parkland on use under the City of Summerside official plan. And there's a little map there.
Okay. So it's been moved by Councillor Adams. You've all read the resolution? I see lights coming on. Councillor McDougall.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I don't have to remind anybody that this was a challenging resolution, and we've all received many phone calls for, against, and whatever. I stated this before. I sat on the National FCM board, and we're pounding on the governments for additional funding for housing. I sat on the FCM, PEI-FM, and I also have sat in recently in a national housing summit. And just this past 2 weeks, I visited all 4 MPs with municipal issues, and one of those top municipal issues was housing. And the federal government is really taking another look on how this is happening, and because it's just not being delivered fast enough. We've also, I've had the information from the city. The study that we did, I think it was a year or so ago, called for 80 additional units or configuration of units per year for the next 16 years. And I believe it was, the number was around 1,250 units for over the next 15 years. So, you know, to think that we're not in a housing crisis is wrong. Although, in saying that, I have received many phone calls, and just like everybody here, have got lots of emails. And there was one concern, you know, everybody's concerned, and it's a real hard decision for council. And I'm suggesting that we put an amendment to this resolution that's came forward, and the amendment would be to read, zoning is approved with an effective date of April 29th, 2022, or an accepted development agreement between the city and the developer is approved by council.
So you're moving in an amendment?
I'm moving an amendment to the
Do
original
you have a
motion.
seconder to your amendment, or Deputy Mayor
Deputy Mayor
McColeman?
McColeman.
So there's a motion to amend the original motion, so we've got to vote on the amendment first, and then we'll go back to the original. So you've all heard this amendment. All in favor say aye of the amendment.
Aye.
Contrary nay?
Nay.
Okay. Okay, so it's one nay and the remainder
Motion carried.
motion carried. So we'll go back to the original motion for a vote.
Do you? No, this is,
I
just
think
go
you
back.
have to vote on the original when you amended it.
no.
You amended the motion.
Yeah, so we voted on it. If this was voted down, we go back to the original motion. But this has been.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'll take your
Yeah,
word for it
yeah,
for now.
That's what it is.
Anyway, so continue on, Councillor Adams.
Thank you, Your Worship. Resolution COS 22-020, moved by myself and seconded by, call for Councillor McDougall. Whereas an application was initiated by the City of Summerside to amend the city official plan to delete a portion of Tower Street Park-140, PID number 322339 from the City of Summerside Parks and Greenspace secondary plan, and whereas in accordance with sections 5.7 of the Zoning Bylaw, Council shall consider the following general criteria as applicable: conformity with all requirements of this bylaw, conformity with the official plan, suitability of the site for the proposed development, compatibility of the proposed development with surrounding land uses, including both existing and projected uses, any comments from residents or other interested persons, adequacy of existing water, sewer, road, stormwater, and electrical services, city parking and parklands for accommodating the development, and any projected infrastructure requirements, impacts from the development on pedestrian vehicular access and safety, and on public safety generally, compatibility of the development with environmental, scenic, and heritage resources, impacts on city finances and budgets, other matters as specified in this bylaw, and other matters as considered relevant. Be it resolved, the secondary official plan amendment 015 to amend the City of Summerside official plan be hereby formally adopted. That was moved by myself and seconded by Councillor McDougall. And there's a little bit on the back, I should read that in as well. Secondary official plan amendment 015 to amend the City of Summerside official plan. The Council of the City of Summerside, under authority vested in it by Section 18 of the Planning Act, RSPEI 1988, Cap P-8, hereby enacts as follows. 1. Delete a portion of Tower Park-140 PID number 322339 from the City of Summerside Parks and Greenspace secondary plan. And then there's just a little.
Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor McDougall. Any questions on the resolution? Sorry,
yeah.
Councillor Adams. Or Councillor Ramsey, sorry.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. I guess I just have to speak. I can't see how many folks are there this evening, but I'm 99% sure that most of them are residents of Ward 3. So I just need to talk for a moment regarding the green space and the desire that probably each and every one of them in that room, and some that can't make it this evening. I got phone calls that there are some that can't make it. I have trouble with giving up this green space, as you all know. I do not, in turn, though, have trouble with housing, as you all know, and I think we're all feeling the same way about that, residents and council alike. We realize the importance of everybody having a home to live in. So I can't agree with this, and but I do agree with housing. So it makes it very, very difficult, and I hope that each developers and residents know what a tightrope I feel like I'm walking here. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there before the vote.
Thank you. You had mentioned the numbers. I count 7 here from that area and 4 developers. I think that's the number. I'm fairly
Well,
close.
thank you, and welcome to every one of you, developers and residents alike.
Thank you.
I wish I could be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you can certainly get your comments in and have them recorded. Any further questions on the resolution? All in favor, say aye. Contrary, nay.
Nay.
Motion carried. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Motion carried 6-1. Oh, I thought it counted Brian.
Yeah, Corey would be 7.
Corey's not here, so he can't vote.
6 and 1 is 7.
Corey was here at the 8.
Okay, 7-1. In favor.
Okay.
Motion carried.
Okay.
You're still on?
Good, I'm still gonna keep going, yep. So resolution COS 22-021, moved by myself, and I'll ask for a seconder. Anybody? Justin? Whereas an application was initiated by the City of Summerside for a zoning amendment for a portion of PID-322339 from Parkland P zone to the high-density residential R4 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, and whereas zoning bylaw amendment 014, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, was read and declared as read a first time at the council meeting held on February 23rd, 2022. And whereas in accordance with section 5.7 of the zoning bylaw, council shall consider the following general criteria as applicable: conformity with all requirements of this bylaw, conformity with the official plan, suitability of the site for the proposed development, compatibility of the proposed development with surrounding land uses, including both existing and projected uses, any comments from residents or other interested persons, adequacy of existing water, sewer, road, stormwater and electrical services, city parking and parklands for accommodating the development, and any projected infrastructure requirements. Impacts from the development on pedestrian vehicular access and safety, and on public safety generally. Compatibility of the development with environmental, scenic, and heritage resources, impacts on city finances and budgets, other matters as specified in this bylaw, other matters as considered relevant. Be it resolved that zoning amendment 014, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, be declared as read a second time. This bears a recommendation of the planning board meeting held on March 1st, 2022. Zoning amendment 014, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. The Council of the City of Summerside, under authority vested in it by Section 18 and Section 19 of the Planning Act, RSPEI 1988, Cap P-8, hereby enacts as follows. 1. The zoning for a portion of PID 322339 shown on Schedule B of the City of Summerside zoning bylaw is designated as high-density residential R4 zone, hereby excluding it from its former designation of Parkland P.
Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor Duran. You've all heard the resolution. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay.
Nay.
Motion carried. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
To 1.
6-1. I think that was 6-1 the last time too, wasn't
It was.
it? Right. Yeah, so I thought. Okay, motion carried 6-1. Continue on.
Okay.
You have another resolution?
Yes, sure do. Resolution COS 22-022, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McFeely, I believe.
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. And, okay, whereas an application was initiated by the City of Summerside for a zoning amendment for a portion of PID 322339 from Parkland P zone to high-density residential R4 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, and whereas zoning bylaw amendment 014, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, was read aloud and declared as read at 2 separate meetings of council held on different days. Be it resolved that zoning bylaw amendment 014, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, be hereby formally adopted. And that's it for that one.
Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded, sorry.
Yeah, Councillor Adams, just before council votes on that, we also had to include, like, under the be it resolved, that this is also subject to the amendment that was passed earlier
Right.
this evening?
That's the
Right.
question I had written down here, but you got ahead of me.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so,
To the amendment that was on 22-019.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
so moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor McFeely. Any further questions? All in favor, say aye. Or wave your hand on the screen. Contrary, nay.
Nay.
Okay, motion carried 6-1. And I think it's important for the people in the audience tonight, if it can be explained to them what exactly the amendment was and did. because there's some stipulations on this being passed.
Yep.
Maybe we get the CAO.
Yep, I'll just take a minute. So the original motion that was going to be voted on was a straight rezoning from parkland to residential R4. Based on the feedback that we've received, that council has received from members of the community, this amendment that was voted on and passed by council tonight gives, I guess, 45 days in terms of the rezoning is approved, subject to the negotiation and an agreement of a satisfactory development agreement between the city and the developer. And that's what council was voting on in terms of the amendment. Okay?
Okay, so I'm still not quite clear on, we
So-
did an amendment and we didn't get back to the original motion as amended. That always used to be the policy as far as I know, but I'll follow that up tomorrow.
So if we can, I think it's important to say too that this isn't something new, that we've done this for other developments. The last one I remember that we did was for the 75 lots off of Starling, I believe. We asked the developer just to come back with the development plan before a certain date, so just letting the residents and developers know that it's not something out of the ordinary.
That actually leaves us in control, right? If they come back, if the developers come back with something that's satisfying, fine. So what I voted on tonight was not for the development, it's for them to come out and come back with another. Okay.
Agreement.
So, and if there's an agreement reached in 20 days that is suitable for the city, then they would proceed.
So, anything further on that one then, the councillors? Just so the people when
thought-
they leave here tonight
I-
will understand.
I'm wondering
Just-
if maybe, I think there might still be a little bit of confusion among both residents and the developers as to, you know,
Why?
why we came about wanting
Yeah.
to make that amendment, and I think it might be important since they're all here, maybe if we can speak to that. I'm probably not the best one to do it, but if anybody,
Well, I guess what we've heard in a lot of the conversations is, you know, they'd like to keep it parkland, and if that can't happen, we need to look at an exit off of Tower Street, I believe. And so that's basically what we've asked that's basically what's behind the amendment to, for the city and the developers to work together and see if we can come up with agreement on the exit, or entrance or exit, whatever you want to call it.
and also, it's just to my understanding that date of April 29th, whether it goes ahead or not, that doesn't, the original date of, I guess we'll call it the closing date of that sale is the same. So doing this doesn't push anything back. So no one, should this go ahead, is going to be, this doesn't further delay anything, is, if I understood correctly.
Okay. That's that one then. We'll continue on with the agenda. Councillor Adams, do you have anything further at this time?
More resolution, and this is resolution COS 22-023, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Ramsey. Whereas an application for a major subdivision was received from Enterprise Venture Group, Inc. to subdivide a portion of PID number 71191 into 28 lots. The lots are intended to be, but not limited to, a semi-detached dwelling development. The proposed 28 lots, Phase 3, the public streets, are indicated on preliminary survey plans prepared by Locust Surveys Limited, drawing number 21258-P02, dated March 3rd, 2022. And whereas in accordance with Section 3.6 of the Subdivision and Site Development Bylaw, Council shall consider the following general criteria as applicable: conformity with all requirements of the bylaw, conformity with the official plan, conformity with the zoning bylaw, the orderly and following nature of the development, physical suitability of the site for the proposed development, including avoidance of natural hazards, undue water runoff, or environmental damage, compatibility of the proposed development with the present and future surrounding patterns of streets, lots, and services, including conformity with any city concept plans, adequacy of the applicant's proposal for traffic circulation, parking, pedestrian access, water supply, sewage disposal, and storm drainage, including the adequacy of city streets and services to handle increased loads, suitability of parkland provisions, impacts on city finances and budgets, proof of conformity with any applicable provincial legislation and regulations, other matters as considered relevant. Be it resolved that council grant preliminary subdivision approval in accordance with section 8.5 of the Subdivision and Site Development Bylaw to Enterprise Group Venture Inc. to subdivide a portion of PID's number 71191 into 28 lots. The lots are intended to be, but not limited to, a semi-detached dwelling development. The proposed 28 lots, phase 3, the public streets are indicated on preliminary survey plan prepared by Locust Surveys Limited, drawing number 21258-P02, dated March 3rd, 2022, subject to the following conditions. The developer satisfies all municipal servicing requirements. The developer enters into a subdivision construction agreement with the city. The developer shall satisfy the parkland dedication requirements. This bears the recommendation of the planning board meeting held on March 11th, 2022.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor Ramsay. You've all heard the resolution. Any questions?
Not a question, but a comment.
Councillor Campbell.
That's development up in my ward again. I would just say, explain that it's phase 1 and 2 of a 3-phase development. So all the legwork has already been done, and it'll be duplexes behind the duplex that are already on marker, so it'll not stick out like a sore thumb.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. All in favour say aye. Contrary nay.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. So you have another?
I do have one more, and then I'm done for a bit. Okay, resolution COS 22-024, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor McColeman. Whereas Red Bridge Farms and Landscaping Limited, Demama's Kitchen, is requesting council approval in accordance with section 13 of the licensing bylaw CS-21 to operate a mobile sales establishment at 225 Reed Drive, PID number 406439. And whereas section 13 of the licensing bylaw provides the council shall allow or refuse an application based on the following considerations: safety, desirability, impact on established businesses in the city, public convenience, and such other considerations as it deems appropriate. Be it resolved, the council grant approval to Red Bridge Farms and Landscaping Limited to operate a mobile sales establishment at 225 Reed Drive, PID number 406439. The license is subject to paying a license fee of $500 for a non-local business as per licensing bylaw CS-21 regulations. Special events require written approval of the event organizer, submitted to the city 3 days in advance. A food health permit is approved by the province. Litter disposal containers are provided on site. Hours of operation 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And letters of permission from property owners. And I believe the property owner is the applicant. So, and this bears the recommendation of the planning board meeting of March 11th, 2022. It says 21 on there, but it's supposed to be 22. Okay.
Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Deputy Mayor McColeman. Any questions on the resolution? All in favour say aye or raise your hand on the screen.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously. Okay, that's your report, Councillor Adams, for Councillor McFeely. So, Councillor Drawn, the floor is yours, sir. You have a tax services report.
Yes, Your Worship. Thank you very much. And
No resolutions, I see.
no resolutions. This is going to be
Short.
painless. Thank you to Director McDonald for preparing this evening. And good evening, everyone. The preparations for the 2022 construction season and capital projects continue. Staff are working on designing and preparing some tenders for next season. This work will continue over the next couple of months. Upon finalizing the capital budget, staff will then be able to prepare some tender packages. It is anticipated that the first few tenders will go out by mid-March to early April in an effort to be ready for May construction starts. Staff continue to review and assist the public with pending developments and building permits to be issued for this year. Staff have been busy with numerous planning-related activities these past few weeks. We have 4 different rezonings in different stages of approval, and some of those items will be before us for our consideration this evening. 4 building permits with a value of a little over $1.9 million were issued for the month of February. We issued permits for 1 change of use, 1 residential renovation, 1 commercial fit-up, and 1 institutional addition and renovation. Staff have continued to work with developers and citizens in order to complete inspections on their existing projects from 2021, as some of those construction projects are continuing throughout this winter. And developers are stopping in and speaking to staff for assistance with their proposed projects for 2022. Residents are also encouraged to ask for assistance with their projects that they may have planned for 2022 as well. And that concludes the technical services report for, I guess, for February 2022.
Thank you, Councillor Drawn, and that's a great start again this year. I think it was probably over $1 million in January, so over $3 million worth of permits issued already, and the year's just starting.
Yeah, the
Anyway.
record to break, I guess last year is still 70, in the $70 million
74, I
range,
think,
so
wasn't it?
$74 million, so we might get there, but that's the number to beat.
Thank you. Do you have anything further to add, or any
I don't, Your Worship, that's
any
everything. from me.
questions for the Chair of Tech Services? I do not see any speakers' lights on, so thank you for that, and we'll continue on. I believe, Councillor McDougall, you have the Municipal Services report.
Thank you, Your Worship. I do have a report here by Director Greg Goody. And there was various major maintenance this month performed at the site. The design has been started for the new centrifuge project approved for 22-23 budget. This is a project funded by the provincial and federal level of government. Total project cost of $2.5 million, funded by 50%. A carbon footprint reduction study has been started with the treatment plant to investigate possibilities of reducing its carbon footprint, which is fully funded by the province of PEI. There was one extreme high rainflow event which peaked the flows of the plant to 2.5 times the normal flows. Normally 10,000 cubic meters per day, and this was 26,000 cubic meters per day was the flow. The treatment plant handled the increased flow well and operated within regulatory parameters, and no impacts on the harbor. The following snow removal efforts were completed February 14th to March 13th. Plowing of roads 4 times, parking lots 4 times, street salting 17 times, sidewalk salting 15 times, sidewalk plowing 8 times, downtown core removal twice, fire hydrant cleaning, and below sidewalk cores a couple of times. So the Public Works did winter ditch clearing and storm catch cleaning during especially after the heavy rainfall events. Public Works has repaired potholes occurring during the freeze and thaw cycles of late February and early March. The traveling public is reminded to report any potholes in the roadway to 902-432-1268 for a timely repair. The 2012 Water Utility Annual Operations Report has been published to the website that will show the drinking water testing and operational data for the utility. Just a couple of stats there. The 32 water samples were taken, and they were all clear of bacteria. 15 chlorination samples taken, and all within parameters. So that's all I have for a report, Your Worship.
Any questions for the Chair of Municipal Services? Any word in the sweet streamer?
Yeah, it's on its way, I think. It's getting close.
Good.
June, yeah, June.
June,
So just with that, I'd just like to pass along condolences to Paul H. Skierman on the loss of his wife, Barb, and also to the family of the late Gordon Eustace. Gordon was a businessman around here for a long time. And in saying that, I'd like to end with the congratulations to Bennett MacArthur signing a 3-year contract with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So,
yes.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor McDougall, and we do pass on our condolences to the Eustace family, as well as Mrs. Skierman and the Skierman family. And yes, it's great to see Jordan Spence, who was with the Capitals a couple of years ago, doing the LA defenseman. So there's two guys with our junior hockey team just a few years ago in the best league in the world. So I think that says something with the caliber of the Junior A League, and we pass on congratulations to them. Anyway, anything further on your report? You got your street sweeper all looked after, so that'll be busy this spring. Councillor Campbell, you got had some windy days. I would imagine the windmills are up and running and providing electricity.
Busy report here. I had to work on it, so give me enough time to read it all out. We repaired Water Street and McColeman Road intersection lights, repaired pedestrian lights at Walker and Granville, repaired Water, Queen and Central intersection lights, boardwalk lighting repaired. That'd be for Councillor next to me there, who reports regularly. Replaced down traffic pole at Ryan and Granville Street. And the residential trial period for the SAS Energy heat pump is completed, and the future will see the SAS Energy heat pump be added to our appliance lineup in our Heat for Less program. The line crew has completed 65% of the circuit voltage conversion. You might have seen our crews out on Acrona, Victoria, and Ottawa. And back to the windmills, 45.7% of our energy came from wind this month. That's the short month too. So we're getting pretty close to the 50% again. We had 6 Heat for Less service calls. The generator to run 23.5 hours. 4 new electric customers energized this month. 1 electrical service upgrade. 2 poles were installed and 1 removed. 6 transformers were installed and 3 removed. 35 service calls were responded to this month. We had 2 furnaces and 4 room heaters for the Heat for Less. That takes your numbers up to 473 units. And here's the big one. I'll catch up to Councillor Durand and spending money. Construction activities for the Summerside Sunbank projects has started this month. An information package to all properties within 250 meters of the project site has been mailed out, and questions are being received back. The utility as of March 14th, 2022, the reports were given. There will be over 48,000 panels and over 5,500 piles installed in the next 6 months. I don't know if the councillors got this. I think it was a pass out. It's what's going to be happening in their Sunbank project. It's such a large project, so if anyone's interested, I can have them for the councillors, but I think you might have got them already. It tells you what work is going to be going on, and it's kind of exciting.
I understand as well that the people coming in to work, the specialists, are looking for housing and having a problem to find it. But anyway, it's great to have them coming here. They probably stay in hotels or motels till they get a place, but it's going to create a lot of extra work, employment.
I apologize for my voice. I think the deputy minister is going to help with her next report. Anyway.
She just got promoted, eh?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell, for your report. Any questions for the Chair of Electrical? I do not see any question lights on, so you have something, are you the Economic Development? Is that the report you're giving now? Oh, you're giving, oh, okay, sorry. The floor is yours, Councillor Durand.
Okay.
The co-chair of Economic Development, and your chair is watching closely here, right, Brian? Or Councillor McFeely?
My chair's in his chair. So I'm just going to, I guess as a courtesy to him, just cover the report, just so, you know, because I'm in person here, and the effect might not come across virtually. So I'll pass it over to him afterwards in case he'd like to add any points, but Until then, I will continue with the economic development report, and I'll start off by thanking Director Mike Vituska for preparing this for this evening, and I'll get right into it, and I'll start here with the former Holland College property, which is how we've started the report here for the last few months. Asbestos abatement is roughly 2/3 complete inside the building. In these areas, they're still completing interior demolition of non-asbestos material, like the lockers that are there and finishing and that sort of thing. Remaining areas of asbestos abatement is in the pool and basement area and also in the boiler room. It's expected that demolition of the building will start by the 3rd week of April. So I should be seeing some activity there on the outside coming up in the 3rd week of April. Completion date is scheduled to be roughly late June, but the additional asbestos abatement will likely add 2 to 3 weeks to the schedule. Moving on to the Sunbank project, as many folks know, the Sunbank solar/battery is in full swing now. While the physical transformation is set to begin, we'll focus on the activities under our value add contract as part of Sunbank. These activities and expenditures that they're the ones that go above and beyond the contract to construct the project, which are of significant interest to Summerside. Firstly, there's a post-secondary collaboration. Aspen Kemp held 2 presentations at UPEI and Holland College with their technical students to create interest in the project, as well as seek applications and build the foundation for further collaboration. Another presentation is scheduled next week at Holland College's Summerside location for their electrical and renewable energy students. Aspen Kemp and Associates has started receiving applications from interested students. Jason, and I think this refers to our Director of IT, Jason Matart, he has also started discussions with the faculty on how to best utilize the SCADA data and build site tours into the curriculum. Smart charger development, work is being done on the business plan for this product. An initial high-level design has been developed. Hydrogen development, Aspen Kemp has hired a hydrogen expert who holds a PhD in materials engineering and has specifically worked on hydrogen application and development in the past. He's a great asset to Aspen Kemp team and has started working on the hydrogen concepts. With other team members, a business plan is being developed. Business collaboration, investment and contracts continue to be sourced locally to help support the project, which was a major tenet of the project specifically. Now our contract, the prime contractor is Aspen Kemp. Further, over 26% of the monies expended to date has been with local island-based companies, something that the city wanted to ensure was a key priority of this transformative project. Some high points. Just turn my page here. It is anticipated that over 50% of all expenditures will be on island and will include many trades and professionals on the island, including but not limited to engineering, GIS, electricians, general contractors. This is all coordinated by Aspen Kemp. Further, Aspen Kemp has committed to invest an additional $10 million outside the direct expenditures with the construction of the project, and will include further business collaboration with post-secondary institutions, including OJT for students, and scholarships and learning opportunities, as well as significant investment in research and development in renewable and alternative fuels is expected. The work has begun and the long lead time on procurement of materials is done. The group is finalizing the engineering and site preparations. Actual work is set to physically begin this spring, and the project is set to be completed by December 31st of this year, barring any major supply chain issues. And finally, an update on our Summerside Exchange. Our business accelerator, the Summerside Exchange, has made significant progress in the few short months that we've been active. We're currently finalizing 2 pilot projects that we envision will lead to jobs and investment in the clean tech sector in Summerside. And there's certainly much more going on behind the scenes, but this provides a high-level overview of some of the major projects that fall under economic development. And with that, if there's any questions, or if my chair, Councillor McFeely, would like to add anything, or contribute his own points, feel free to do so, and I'll step aside.
Thank you, Councillor Drawn. Councillor McFeely, would you like to comment? Your
Well,
vice chair
just
did a
to,
great job.
Thank Councillor Durand for the report and did an excellent job. The Jason referred to there was actually Jason Kent, from Aspen, Kent.
Okay, good to know. The way that it read, it didn't.
Yeah.
It was
No,
very
I
IT oriented, and
Yeah.
I figured it was.
Understood. And I just want to thank Director Mike Tatuska and Neil Moore, the researcher, for the tremendous work that they do behind the scenes that people don't see. And I know there's several other projects that we're working on to bring to fruition, and have been involved in a number of meetings in the last couple of weeks around those to try to bring forward. And there's some good positive things happening there. So just to say thanks to those two folks for the work that they're doing. Additionally, as others have done, I want to certainly offer condolences to my friend and colleague, Polly Skierman, on the loss of Barb, and as well as Councillor McDougall referred to, certainly congratulations to Bennett MacArthur on his success to date and the signing of the contract. So that's all I have, Your Worship. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely, for joining us at the council meeting. And anybody got any questions for the chair? If not, we'll continue on then. Thank you, Councillor McFeely.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the police services. I believe Deputy Mayor is going to fill in for Councillor Ramsey on the report. Police and fire, and emergency plan.
Thank you. And I want to acknowledge the Vice Chair also, Councillor Greg Campbell. I'll do the Summerside Police Services first, and just another quick, very welcome back to Chief Dave Poirier. Thank you to Acting Chief Sinclair Walker and Acting Deputy Chief Jason Black here, for those who were maybe watching and missed it earlier. I just want to bring just some information for police services, Summerside Police Services. Committee and volunteer work. One of our Summerside members did a talk to children in regards to bullying. Members continue to attend meetings for Bridge Program, Criminal Intelligence, PEI, Crime Stoppers, and the Micmac Confederation, PEI, Indigenous Justice Advisory Committee, and other provincial organizations. As well, in the area of training and service enhancements, Corporal Dale Corish received upgraded training on crisis negotiation, hostage negotiator. Tanya Yo Campbell attended training with the RCMP to become a pros trainer. We no longer have to rely on the RCMP for pros training for our new staff. Our front desk services were reopened during the month for criminal record checks, and they had been previously closed due to COVID. Community policing activities continue. Our police service members are involved with the PEI Integrated Impaired Driving Enforcement Initiative with Kensington Police and the RCMP on the weekends. As well, a number of staff are sent to assist Charlottetown Police Services with the slow roll truckers protest. Members also assisted the RCMP at Confederation Bridge with the same protest. I would also like to mention that 2 of our officers were involved in removing 2 of our senior citizens from a house fire on Central Street. If it were not for quick actions in removing the 2 citizens from the burning structure, they would have lost their lives. So a lot of things that go on, that they're there on the front lines. Some of the occurrence statistics are just a list of some in the past 3 months, and I'll just give the totals for February. Calls for service, 476. Traffic accidents, 23. Reported crimes of assaults and threats, 27. Theft reports, 18. Impaired driving offenses, 5. Highway Traffic Act charges, 80, as well as 4 break and enter reports for business and residential, and drug enforcement charges, which does not include the Joint Forces operation, 4. And I'd like to thank Acting Chief Sinclair for preparing the report. I'll just continue on with fire services and thank Ken Colleton, Admin Assistant with Summerside Fire Department. There were 23 fire calls during February. 2 structure fires, 3 medical first responder calls, 3 alarm panel calls, 1 electrical fire, 1 motor vehicle fire, 1 smell of smoke call, and 7 miscellaneous calls. During the month of February, the firefighters trained for a total of 305 hours in the following activities, and I'll just go through a number of them. Level 1 instructor, Zoom practice, vehicle fires. Level 2 instructor, hands-on training with new recruits, MFR recertification. Level 1 instructor, breath apparatus training. I need a little help here. PPE. What is it? Personal protective. Oh, personal protective. Okay, level 1. PEI fire school, part 2. Breathing apparatus work, ventilation training, fitness for our members, level 2 instructor, full gear drills, new firefighter orientation, and truck maintenance. And in closing, Summerside firefighters were very fortunate to participate in the coldest night of the year fundraiser for Lifehouse Transitional Housing and Emergency Shelter for Women and Children. It was the first annual walk, and it injected over $86,000 to help this local Summerside organization get started, which will be a help throughout Prince County. The City of Summerside also wants to welcome its 3 newest firefighters, Barry Hippenstall, Max Bartlett, and George Bowman, and we just want to welcome them aboard, and I just respectfully submit this report to Council.
Thank you.
On behalf of Councillor Barr.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any questions for the chair? I do not see any questions, so we'll continue on with, I believe we have a report from Councillor Snow.
Yes.
Councillor Adams, the floor is yours.
So I'm going to do this in Councillor Snow's absence. So for Community Services Monthly Report, the month of February started with plenty of active living programming, from come try fat biking, snow painting, snow spike ball, and senior snowshoeing. There was plenty for the residents of Summerside to do throughout the month. The outdoor facilities were also in full swing, with ice and trail conditions in good shape for majority of the month. And it's always helpful when the active living Summerside, they really keep it up to date with the groomed trails and the snow hills and so on. The Summerside Western Capitals returned to action in February, going 2-2 for the month of February. Although the team went an even 500 in the month, the Caps continue to have a strong season and continue to rank in the top 3 nationally. Attendance records in the Island Petroleum Energy Centre Credit Union Place are also amongst the highest in the Maritime Hockey League. And we are moving into the first round of playoffs schedule. It begins this Saturday and Sunday, and the Caps will play the Edmonton Blizzard Saturday and Sunday at 7. So it's nice to start off the series at home. Big news in the month of February was the official opening of the Dome on the grounds at Credit Union Place. This 65,000 square foot multi-purpose turf field is now in full swing, with local sport and recreation groups utilizing its versatility. Later in the month, staff hosted an open dome that invited residents and the public to the facility for a tour and to partake in various activities. More than 500 people were through the doors to check out the island's newest sport and recreation facility was all about. And it is something else when you walk in, for sure. So, families flocked to the Credit Union Place for Islander Day with plenty to do, such as inflatables, swimming, bowling, skating, face painting, balloon art, and more. It was another accessible Islander Day at Credit Union Place. I should also mention that the March break day passes were a huge success. I saw a lot of people on social media commenting on that. The bowling lanes and aquatic center saw 7 total themed birthday parties for the month of February, while the Veterans Convention Center saw a total of 22 bookings. Also should be noted that 6 YBC Youth Bowling Club bowlers are leaving for Calgary tomorrow to represent PEI at the Youth Challenge. So good luck to them, and congratulations. That's a big feat, and it's nice to be able to travel and partake in those things. Also, the U15A Team 3 Summerside Capitals Good Deeds Cup. They're in the running, and you can vote daily on the Chevrolet.ca until April 2nd. And once you vote once, it'll send you an email to keep voting every day. So it's a little reminder. you don't even have to set your agenda for it. And also the U13 AAA are hosting the Atlantics at the Cup, May 5th to 8th. So a little extension to the hockey season. So that's it for community services, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. I believe you have a question from Councillor Campbell.
It's fair to ask Councillor Adams, but has there been any word on the Fred Page Cup or compensation for all the work done leading up to it?
I don't believe there's been any official word on.
Sorry, Councillor Adams. Councillor Campbell, I know discussions were still ongoing with Hockey Canada about that over the weekend. Nothing final at this point, but we'll certainly keep council and the community posted.
Does the city have a representative?
I think it's the league, Maritime Junior League.
That's the one that Taylor just became president of.
But Hockey Canada makes the final decision, I guess. Anyway, thank you, Councillor Adams. Do you have anything further?
Nope, that's, I'll go on to my reports.
Okay, I was just wondering, something I was going to mention there too, and it slipped my mind to get it in before you started, but on Councillor Duran's report, it was great to hear that demolition may start, did you say, of the old Holland College building within 3 weeks or so?
I think it was the third week of April.
Third week of April.
Yeah.
So that's great. It's great news to be getting to that point. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go on to Human Resource and Legal Affairs. Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee as well as Department subcommittees continue to meet. So the department provided support at various meetings. Staff activity challenges are continuing throughout the winter months, and interviews were held for part-time positions at the Credit Union Place front desk, aquatics, and bowling staff. Part-time police officer was hired. First aid, CPR, and AED training were held earlier this month, and an application was submitted for the city to be part of the Atlantic Immigration Program. That's it for that report, Your Worship. If there's no questions, I'll go right into Culture Summerside. The following report captures some highlights of Culture Summerside's activity from mid-February to mid-March. The programming for the 66th Summerside Lobster Carnival is under development and will soon be available for viewing. Summerside Lobster Carnival website. Culture Summerside is excited with the caliber of the entertainment lineup. Chef Robert Pendergast is back as the carnival chef with an impressive lineup of local guest chefs, culinary demonstrations, and taste testing that pair island lobster with other island foods in recognition of our food island. Sponsorship efforts are ongoing, and we appreciate the involvement of Mayor Stewart and Councillor Adams. Carnival dates are July 7th, 8th, and 9th this year. Press release of all the details and events will be scheduled. The Mayor's Heritage Tea is scheduled for the 25th, this Friday, at Summerside City Hall, Council Chambers, 1:30 till 3. Included are the Summerside Heritage and Culture Awards presented by Mayor Stewart and myself. And this year, 12 City of Summerside Heritage and Culture Awards will be presented, representing a wide range of heritage and cultural activities in the community in 2021. The tea will also be an opportunity to mark the 100th anniversary of the Prince County War Memorial found in Memorial Square. Wyatt Heritage Properties Incorporated and Culture Summerside are working on the development of the Summerside Arts Festival, and Culture Summerside program staff are developing summer events such as the Old Fashioned Carnival, which is always popular, and the well-attended Concert in the Garden series, in the daily roster of museum tours. Marlene Campbell of Culture Summerside won a 2022 Heritage Recognition Award from the Prince Edward Island Museum and Heritage Foundation for her work in the promotion of heritage and culture in Summerside. So congratulations to Marlene. Applications have been submitted to summer student employment programs, and funding approvals are being received. Jean McKay of Culture Summerside has been promoted to archivist following the retirement of Fred Horn. So congratulations, Jean and Fred on his retirement. And if there's no questions, I'll do one more.
Okay, I just got a couple of questions in regards to Lobster Carnival. Maybe I'll mention it now. And we did have a good discussion in the last couple of weeks about that, and we're looking at the possibility of trying to add another day or so, or maybe a couple of days. We're looking at the possibility of, and I think Councillor McDougall is one of the ones, and maybe Councillor Ramsey, and maybe others that will help start back again. It used to be a big draw a few years ago is the Country Music Talent Contest for PEI. And so that's been worked upon, as well as the midway, with the way this COVID thing threw a monkey wrench into everything the last 2 or 3 years in regards to midways and those kinds of things. We may try to get an extra day out of them. They may be coming a day early, so we're trying to see if we can get them to set up an extra day early. We'd like to bring the Lobster Carnival back to the Lobster Festival, Lobster Carnival Week in Summerside. And I think with some innovative thinking, that will happen, but we have to work at it gradually. And also, there was discussion about the Governor's Plate race. It's going to be that week, and we might get another race date out of it. We're not sure yet, but that's being talked about. So there's a bunch of things to try to tie it together, because there's the Cavendish Festival, whatever it's called, like the music festival. It's sort of, be careful how I say this, but it was sort of come in the time that the carnival was usually held, and I think some dates got changed before we really got a handle on it. But anyway, we're working on it to try to improve the carnival and get an extra day or two out of it this year and bring it back, and because it has been for years, and it can still be a great festival and carnival. And as we mentioned a number of times, you go across the bridge to Shediac, a town half our size, and they get thousands of people and a full week of celebration. So I think we can bring it back with some work, and we appreciate the support of your department and councillors. So that's all. I just wanted to comment on that. Deputy Mayor, your lights on?
Just more of a comment. I've been following on, I think it was Burgess Travel, and some of their one-day trips that they do to Prince Edward Island. It's usually for country music with a dinner or theater or whatnot. And I know that we've talked about this different times, trying to, maybe package some of the products and everything for Summerside. So that might be something, if we could maybe tap into Culture Summerside with some of the people from the travel companies. I mean, we have a Canadian museum that's a living museum, and they've won awards for it. And I think something like that with a nice tea and then the Wednesday night concert might be a real way to start to boost some tourism in Summerside, if, as an option, just as a thought.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Campbell, you have...
And now, just beware when you're making plans and picking dates and stuff like that of other communities and what they're up to. I know over the years we've walked and stepped on people's toes, and that didn't help our crowds and stuff. But do a check of it, places that are quite handy.
Yes, and I think that's certainly been done this year to coordinate with the other communities for their festivals and carnivals. Anything further? We've gotten to the end of the agenda. Is that... Oh, yeah, one more. Okay, go on.
Never ending. This is the last one, I promise. So the Bylaw Policy and Review Committee, like to bring everyone up to date on the latest efforts of the BPR Committee. Staff had presented Council with options that may help in addressing some unsightly properties in the community. To that end, Council directed staff to look at methods around taxation and stimulus programs as additional tools for Council to use. BPR Committee reviewed a draft bylaw which contained an expanded definition of unsightly properties, along with proposed wording on how to address vacant properties. We are working through this draft, and we'll be presenting it to Council once we have completed our internal review. And I know that with the snow melting, we've probably started getting some calls already. So another area of focus is the city's street naming policy. When a developer is planning a subdivision, they are able to select proposed street names off the list that is developed by the city. The policy has been recently applied in developments such as Starlight Estates. They chose Ellis, Logie, and Starlight for the street names. The policy has been in place for some time, and BPR Committee will review it and offer recommendations on additional ideas for street names, as well as further define Council's role in providing input and ideas on future street names. We will update Council once we have completed our review. And this concludes the report, if there's any questions. And I'm done, I promise.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. I do not see any question lights on. So we've gotten to the end of the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councillor Drawn and seconded by Councillor Adams. All in favour say aye.